back to my YouTube channel. If you're new here, welcome, and you're welcome again and again. If you're a returning subscriber, thank you for keeping it locked in this channel. Today we are going to do a tea item or a bun that can be used for having an afternoon tea item, as an afternoon tea item, or as a morning breakfast item. So we are going to use the following ingredients. It is a yeast product, so we make sure we cream our yeast so that it can begin to raise before we mix it in the flour. We have already sieved our 1.5 kilos of flour. We have some bit of sugar, that is 50 grams. We are not going to use a lot of sugar because we are going to, the process is using also caster sugar towards the end. We will need some margarine. We will use the egg to add value to the bun because it's a family product, and maybe you can also be selling, but when you sell it, it will attract an expensive price. But because it is for my family, I'm using an egg to add value, so that, and I'll also use Blue Band to also add value for nutritional purposes. Plus I will use milk instead of plain water. If you are making it for business and you want to maybe build into your profit, then maybe you can have half water, half milk. But for my liquid today, I'm just using milk. So I'll begin by cleaning my hands. Since I'm going to use my hand, I like mixing the flour with my hands and kneading the dough. I don't use a cooking stick. So as I said, this is 1.5 kilos. We have 50 grams of margarine. If we put more margarine, then it's going to suffocate the operation of the yeast, so it might not raise. So make sure margarine is not much. So you rub in the margarine into flour with your finger as you raise the flour, so that you can add in air into the mixture. So once you have that, then you can add in the granulated sugar. Remember, we said we are using 2 sugars. This is caster, this is granulated. Then our yeast has already reacted. It is actually bubbling, so we can now mix it in the flour. Then now we can put in our egg. This is optional. If you can't afford or you don't need it, then don't use it. I love it because I have some members of my family who cannot eat egg on its own, so I like incorporating it into my products. Then once you have your warm milk, then mix in your milk. So we try and make it into a soft dough. So once you have that warm milk, then now we can use the water to now make it into a soft dough. When you mix your dough, you mix your flour, you will feel the warmth. Yeast need warmth to grow. That's why we are using everything warm. So after adding the warm milk, now we can be using the warm water to now change our maybe dough soft dough. You mix until it is well combined into a dough. Yeah. Then now we can transfer it into the surface so that we knead it until it is soft. So when kneading, the 4 fingers will be feeding your thumb. So your thumb is the one that is kneading, pushing the dough down until you feel the surface, so that we can make it soft. Okay, we don't knead with the palm, we knead with our thumbs. So that way our mixture gets mixed up soft very fast. So it's already ready. You will know it's ready because when it's ready, it doesn't stick on the surface and even in your hands. Okay, then we know it is soft and ready. Since it's a yeast mixture, the other way also to check if it's ready, you can maybe take a knife, cut, and you will see the air spaces inside. Then you know it is ready. It's mixed well. So we will leave it for 1 hour to raise before we come to shape. If you are in a warm place, it may take less time. It can raise within 30 minutes. If you are in a cold place, around 45, 1 hour, it should be ready. So you can cover it with a cloth and let it raise. We will attend to it. So once we wait for it, we can clear up the space and arrange our tray for the presentation of the item, and at the same time we can prepare the tins, brush the baking sheets with margarine. We are going to use the flour for kneading. We will use, these are the next ingredients that we are going to use in the next procedure. So make sure your space is cleaned completely. Prepare your tins, baking sheets ready. We are just going to brush, we are not going to put to dust with flour. So once we have rolled our dough into a quarter of an inch thickness, we now apply melted margarine. With our pastry brush. Once all of it is covered, then now we are going to use the caster sugar. You sprinkle caster sugar on top of the margarine now which you have brushed. Once you have sprinkled completely, then you're going to spread your raisins or the dry fruits. So for the dry fruits, because they are always very dry, when you begin to assemble your ingredients, you make sure you soak them in hot water so that it can remove the all the dirt that was absorbed during packaging and such, and then also to allow it to absorb some bit of the moist so that it can be they can be soft. By the time you come back to the use them to spread them, they'll be soft. So you can either use the black currants, you can either use the raisins, any of the preferably dry fruits. So once you have spread like that, then now we begin to roll. You make sure you roll. And we are going to also switch on our oven in preparation. (180 degrees). So once you have finished the shaping, you can now sprinkle some flour on top and let them raise kidogo. You can see our yeast is very active because they are already raising, and the oven is ready. So the flour on top will help in extra browning. So immediately we remove them from the oven, we will dust off the flour before we brush again with melted margarine to give them a shiny effect. So once we have sprinkled some flour, we let them raise a bit. In our case, the yeast is very active, like these ones which we started with are already risen. So when I was doing the other bowl, this one already had risen. So we will wait for these ones briefly, then we put them in the oven together. Remember, we preheated our oven 180 degrees. So we will put them in for 20 minutes. They'll be ready. You can see now our buns have raised. Okay, so now we can put them in the oven, which had been reheated. For 20 minutes, they'll be ready. So as we wait, we can clear up our space. We bring near the melted margarine and our tray, which we prepared when we were waiting for them to raise. So it's for my granddaughter. She has just come back from her camp. She had gone for Girl Guide camp. So she arrived last night. So I'm going to set for her this tray. We have her cup of tea, the teaspoon. We'll have she loves boiled eggs, so we'll have her 2 boiled eggs plus the 2 buns with her cup of tea. That's her napkin, so that she can carry the tray to where she's watching her cartoons. so that she can have her breakfast. So we wait for they are coming out in the next few minutes. Our buns seem to be ready. So we switch off the oven so that we can remove and brush them with melted margarine when they are still hot. You can see how lovely they look. So dust off the flour which we had put to prevent them from becoming hard on top. We didn't want the hard crust. We want them to be soft. So brush them when they are still hot to give them a glaze. These ones will help you in removing the monotony of bread with tea in the morning, instead of your family getting bored with bread every day. This is also bread, but now done differently. The bread bun is still the same, but now you finish them differently, and your family will love them because they are sweet because of the castor sugar that we had put, and the fruits, the milk, and the margarine. Once you have brushed, you can see they pull out easily. You can see how they look, how soft they are. Very good. So we can see the quality. So you will separate them. Once you have separated them, I have this my bread basket which I was gifted from Ushago, my traditional bread basket. I normally use it for my buns, for my bread, just to keep them there so that they don't dry up. I line it with the tea cloth so that they stay there well. So since I had told you I'm going to serve my grandchild who has just come from the camp, I'll put for her two there with her egg, two eggs. The tray had already been set, so I will place them there, and then the rest of them I will put them in the basket so that the other members of the family can have their buns when they need their tea. They can pick them from here and proceed. So my granddaughter is already seated at the table, so I'm going to serve for her her tea. You can see the baby become, this is only 1.5 kilos of plant. They become so many, even the basket has become small. Let me serve my granddaughter since she's very fast. Then I can come and sort out the other members. Our tray looks beautiful with our cup there, the salt and pepper there for the egg, our bun, our napkin and our tea ready for my hungry granddaughter. So mom, good morning. Yeah, you're welcome for your breakfast. Hope you enjoy.
Nice.
Yummy, eh? Thank you. Enjoy. Thank you guys for watching and for keeping it here. Thank you for supporting me. Please don't forget to share, subscribe, hit that subscription button, share, like the video. We meet next video. Blessings.